3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Show Me Trucks. In this video, I finally take a break off the 36 GMC back here and go out there and pick up my 51 Chevy Suburban from the farm. Pull it over here. I got to do some cleaning on it. Let's get into it. Alright, well, she's over to the house. So let me give you a little walkthrough before I polish this thing up and get it ready for Barrett Jackson, you know? Just joking. I just got to pressure wash it, clean it a little bit, and then I want to cut all the bolts off so I can get this body off this frame soon. So obviously, crusty as crusty gets. It's got a nice dent in the back right here. Hopefully that pushes out. Hopefully it's not too rotted out. Down in here, everything is rotted out in the bottom, like everywhere. So try not to work on it a whole lot. I mainly just needed to get this artillery wheel off this side. I'm gonna soak it in a bunch of soap before I even pressure wash it, but this thing is roached bad everywhere. But I got new fenders. I got fenders for the front, running boards. I know everyone loves these running boards. You know, I don't know if they're lighter than the originals for race weight or what, but I need to figure all this out. This side is even better than the other side, so at least I know there's something to mount to. The other side doesn't have anything, so I can't wait to build all that from scratch. I have these panels, so hopefully save something. I don't know, but I'm gonna pull the wiring off, pull bumpers off, pull some brackets off today. So that's what I'm working on. But I wish they didn't cut all this off. I know I probably said this in multiple other videos, but they got all these patches that are ridiculous in here, but I wish I had some of the original mounting holes so that I knew how they mounted. So let's give her a little clean. I want to pull some stuff out of the inside, and then I'm gonna pressure wash the inside too. And I wish someone would tell me. I keep asking people, but no one wants to answer me. I don't know if the push buttons can go directly on the mechanisms on the inside of here, but I have some push button ones, and I'd like to use those instead of these. These aren't working that well. Like I said, new fenders, they'd cut the bottom of those off, which is cool because you don't really know where anything goes. Wow, this gives you a little image of what it looked like before. So let's clean this bad boy up. You can tell tons and tons of rust up in here. It looks like they tacked to these little panels, so they must have ran paneling all the way down. A lot of these you'll see just has this stripping, which covers up the holes. These are your little access holes to get in. Whatever tubing, venting is in there, so you can work on the sliders and stuff. I do have these top pieces that go on here. I just kind of took them off because I wanted to reuse these bows, these trims. And if you look way up there, I have some cool hornet's nest and stuff. So let's get her clean. I do have the springs and stuff in here, but I don't plan on using any of those springs. I'll probably just do straight foam in the seats like I did in the 36 over here. So yay, super excited to clean. You know, if you want to restore nicer trucks, hopefully you have more money than me. I'm broke, so I get to restore these kind of trucks. Well, one positive, you know, cleaning the floor out. At least this side I can kind of reference what it had. You know, like on a 67, these at least have some supports that the wood mounts to. I probably wouldn't have known that if it was just this side. This side's got, or and this is all plywood, and then they have like a rubber, kind of, I would say rubber liner or vinyl, or who knows what they used back then. But one positive is all these seat brackets. You know, there's a little carriage bolt that goes down, and there's little wing nuts, and so at least I have all those, it seems, and in the right spot, so I can whenever I put new plywood in here, and I thought I would do metal, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do plywood. Then I can put all these in the right spot. And if you heard me before, I might do the short seat up here and maybe a short seat back here. That way you can slide things on the side. Whenever you have these in here, that seat is really close to the back. You don't have much storage. And I kind of would like kids to be able to climb up in here to get up into the seats instead of always going from that side. I'm sure kids will, no matter what, want to climb through the back door and do whatever you don't want them to do. This side's had better days. So this is all rotted out. Like I said, this is not going to be a points restoration or anything. As you can tell, it's horrible in here. I'm gonna modify everything I possibly can to make this better to work on, less of a rust bucket. This bucket down here where everything just sits and rots out is pretty cool. But ooh, little snake skin in here. So just getting it as clean as I can. Like I said, I'm gonna pull all this wiring out. It's disgusting in there. And I'll be rewiring it, I'm sure, with 12 volt. I keep going back and forth on original engine and different things like that, but I already have that LS engine. It's probably going in here. I really wouldn't mind it 4-wheel drive, but just trying to get all this stuff to work. Ripped that running board off. That was pretty cool. So I was correct. It does seem lighter than the other one. all polished up. Like I said, these fenders are way out. Whenever I towed it, I just try to find some metal to attach it to. That's why they're out. It's so ridiculous. But she cleaned up a lot better than I was expecting. Obviously, like all the horrible stuff I'm getting rid of anyway. Like, I'm not really a big fan of riveting patches on. This side was obviously the really black side, but she cleaned up all right. This is obviously my least favorite part. When I go to fix this, I'm still debating. One of my biggest debates is actually extending these fenders and bringing them big enough so that I can come out past this whole rusted out area and just not have this bead. And I understand everyone's gonna be like, well, the bead runs the water past this bead. Obviously, it'll rust out anyway, so maybe I just run that flat, and it would make it simpler on fixing all this. And if you didn't know, I'm not using this frame. Another thing I'd like to fix, and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that, but this shock angle is crazy on these trucks. I think my tabs in the back were broken anyway, so I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. Obviously, I don't want to raise the bed floor, but man, I would really love my shocks to be able to sit more vertically. And so I don't know if that means hanging down farther off here, but this is all looking rough on this frame. But I do need all these tabs, those Suburban tabs, and then I need these running board brackets, but man, those other two are bent up. So I gotta see what I can fix in here. I wish that gas tank was good. Highly doubt it. Probably gonna pull the doors off, pull everything out whenever I go to move this body, because I'm sure it's horrible to move it. I bet those back doors are unbelievably heavy too. The only thing I didn't really spray was the very top of the cab up there. I can't get to it right now. I don't really care that much. Well, this is how these trucks go. I couldn't resist. I was like, let me just pull these fenders off. Well, obviously, it's pristine in here. So, bolt number one, it's kind of nice. It just rips everything on its way out, which is whatever, because I think I've probably redesigned that a little bit too, because I'd like to be able to get into the backside if that's possible, or whenever I fix that, maybe rib nuts on the backside. So, yay. I would like to be able to film this, but it's gonna be really hard to use my hands and do this at the same time. So I imagine all this metal is gonna rip out. Well, pristine fender removal. Let's see what it looks like. It smells like mouse piss in here, which is cool. But tons of Bondo. They had already put some hideous patches in here, so like I said, I'll be redoing all this anyway. So it's not like I wasn't expecting a ton of rust in this, but all back in there. So that kind of solidifies my answer as far as I think I'm going to just extend these fenders up just a couple inches just to clear all that. I've kind of always thought that the rear fenders on these looked a little small anyway, proportion wise to the front, and with what I want to do with the more of a dirt tire and keep it kind of stock height, maybe even four-wheel drive, I think that's the best route, is just to get rid of all this. So I think it'll be kind of easy, like just make this little 90 curve and then make the fender to match. I threw those fenders on. I got it at Hershey for like $40, so looking better. There's nothing to attach on this side. The back panel actually looks way better, but I had to put this awesome setup in there. So and then it's a little bent out. It's got a nice ding in here, so obviously I'll mess with that eventually, but it's kind of how it sits in there. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to just make like a 2-inch replacement panel, or if I'm going to stretch that out. That way, the tires I want, I think are like 30.5 diameter. It's a little big for this. Those are 29.5. When it's all the way up, it might be fine. And once I want to scoot that axle back just a touch. I hate how they're way in the front, but it's kind of what we're looking like. I might just leave those because I kind of don't really want to weld on the fenders, but I do want stock height. I do want dirt tires. Another reason for dirt tires is it'll make the tall truck not look so dumb. I kind of think they look dumb with white walls and super tall. Not dumb, but not for me. And then we can take it off road a little bit, and then I won't feel as bad about having radials on a older vehicle. Kind of like the bias ply on older ones, but I want to drive this all the time, so I don't really want the bias ply. So she looks a lot better, I will say that. I also am pretty excited. I found out the bumpers on the Suburbans, I don't know about the trucks, but on Suburbans it looks like the bumpers front to back are the same. So now, I was hoping this wasn't like a only Suburban bumper. That would be really hard to find. But now when I go to swap meets, I can find some bumpers. And I've been taking the seat pads out. I'm gonna try to sell all those because I plan, like I said, I don't plan on running the springs. And if someone needs these, which I'm sure someone wants some Suburban parts, the backs of these springs actually look really nice, which is really surprising with how roached out everything else on this truck is. But all this looks nice. All the springs look nice. I don't know if that was redone, but the way they mount up, it'd be really hard to fabricate. But this front seat is obviously from a truck. But hopefully someone needs those. All these are horrible. I bought that at the swap or the salvage yard, but I think I'm gonna get rid of it. The same with the radiator. I think I'm just gonna commit to the LS engine, and I'll need a new radiator anyway. So trying to sell some parts so that or trade so that I can get some more parts for the Suburban. This is the quality that I'm talking about. Hopefully everything lines up. Yeah. So that's how you just trying to break things loose so I can get the cab off. So I don't plan on using any of this, but look, nothing's attached. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Can't wait to build that. This truck, even though it's old, it has some of this Bluetooth cab mount setup. I was a little surprised it had all that, but it's cool. All my bolts are still in there. I could totally reuse those, you know. But just to wiggle some stuff loose. Everything is loose now. I don't know. This is gonna be real fun to put back together. Basically, I think I'm gonna weld all the doors and everything in place and then build structure to it. So super fun. It's kind of nice to have a project that's this rotted out, in the sense that you don't actually care to restore it that nice. You can build all that from scratch. It doesn't need to be pristine. I mean, I still even have to redo all this metal under the gauges. So at least the front is loose now. Now I need to see where else it bolts to the body at. I think there's at least 4 in the back, and then there's probably something in here. So she's coming loose, you know. So it obviously will just be totally replacing everything in the front with whatever fits. That way I could even move that engine way back if I really wanted, you know. I do kind of want to keep my steering and just scoot it to the side for the V8, but I could chop all that up and not stress any of it. I'm not saving any of that. I do want all this to look original, but I probably won't even use the original e-brake setup. I'll probably use a 67 lever up underneath the dash. I'm not going to use that heater setup. I think I'm going to tuck everything up higher behind the glove box like I usually do. And so she's slowly getting loose. I'm gonna try to get these seat frames out too, but she's pretty pristine. I'm gonna end this video today, but at least the fenders are on. It's semi cleaned up, and I need to pull this off and throw it on the other body. I kind of put some tape up here. I'm trying to decide. 99% sure what I'm gonna do is extend this about 4 inches, which will give it a little more length, and then I'm gonna adjust the wheel opening for the tires that I have, and then bring all that up 2 inches. So it's gonna come back 2 inches on each side, but also up 2 inches. To me, I wish these bodies didn't rise up in the back. I wish the top of the body went with this window line, but it doesn't. So I think if I bring that up, open that up a little bit, it'll kind of match the front fenders. I know I don't have them on, but Usually these look a little small in the back. So that's how she's coming along. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I also have been cleaning everything off these seats. I was gonna sell these seat frames, but I might still sell them. If anyone wants them, let me know. But in the central PA area, I'm not shipping these. But who knows? I might lay some foam on them, sit on, see how ridiculous the springs are. If you guys have ever redone these springs or done solid foam, let me know which one you think I should do. Solid foam, I like the idea. I don't really like how bouncy the springs are, but money-wise, just throwing a smaller layer of foam on these and then recovering them is probably the better investment, because obviously this is going to be a rough, cheap truck. I hope you guys enjoy. I know this is kind of a longer video, but kind of been working on this the last couple of days, so later.